Hey people, it is Friday, June the 6th. Time is 5:17 p.m. It's about 23 degrees Celsius, feeling a bit warmer with the humidex. And feeling very, very hazy and smoky today. I think the air quality in Toronto is absolutely horrendous today, among the worst in the world, due to the smoke from the wildfires in Western Canada, sort of blowing their way east and blanketing the entire area here in southern Ontario and beyond. I believe Montreal is in a similar situation, and no doubt much of the northeastern US and the Midwest. And there's an advisory or a statement in effect pertaining to the poor air quality today. Some people are encouraged to stay indoors if they're of ill health, or if they're elderly, or if they're small children. But obviously I'm out here, and I will be out here for quite a while because I'll be doing a live stream later on. But I thought maybe to minimize my amount of time breathing in this poor air, I'd head indoors here at Union Station. And I will do an updated walk around Union Station. I did one going on a year ago. But there have been lots of new additions in the time since I recorded that video, in terms of new restaurants and retail stores. So this seemed like a good day to come and catch up on what's new at Canada's busiest transportation hub. And it's also the second busiest train station in the US and Canada, I think, behind only Penn Station in Manhattan. And I've shown these before. These are also new, the new anti-terrorism barriers that they've been installing along Front Street here. I think this is just the first round, and they will continue on all the way over to York Street. You can see they still have some of the old Jersey barriers here, yet to be replaced. So let's head inside, and we'll see what there is to see inside Union Station in June 2025. And the Great Hall is the first site of the tour. Looking great. Not much has changed here in the Great Hall since my last tour of the station.
Oh yeah, it's not great.
I think they've added some color to this drywall hoarding, which has been on that side of the Great Hall for many years now. It was just a blank white canvas for most of the time, and finally they decided to do something with that, although I'm still not sure what is behind this drywall here, and if eventually it'll be reopened up again, because there is significant space hiding behind there. I'd like to see something done with that. And they still haven't installed a new chandelier. I think that was in the plans also. Well, let's start off going to the Bay Concourse here on the eastern end. We got some nice air conditioning in here, making the air quite a bit more pleasant than the air outside. I'm going to try to make this a bit different in style than my last walkthrough. So it is rush hour, but it's not super duper busy in here right now. Whether that's because it's a Friday or because maybe a lot of people decided to stay home today due to the bad air quality. Those are a couple of factors. But it can be absolutely pandemonium in here on certain days, particularly a Wednesday or Thursday, I find. This is where you catch your GO trains to various locales. There are stations within the city proper, but most people are heading outside the city, I would say, to more suburban locations or even satellite cities such as Guelph and Kitchener, Hamilton even.
Yeah, because people are like standing close to it and like not I don't know.
Let's head down to the retail level. This is where most of the changes have taken place since my last video. The LCBO there. I'm not sure if this weed store was here last time. You got the people running for the trains. You have to watch out. Sometimes they're in such a rush they might not even notice a guy walking along with a camera. Big Sephora. That was there last time. I always get a kick out of the running people. I'm not sure if this was open last time or not. I know it opened fairly recently. And that'll take you into the subway station, to the moat. There's a glass roof up on the moat now.
Yeah, okay.
That's been there for quite some time though. This used to be all open to the air here. There's line 1. You want to hop on the subway, you can either go up Yonge Street or up the University Spadina side. Both will be going northbound from here. I'll focus more on the retail and restaurants in this video than I did last time. Since that's what has seen the most change. Someone recently pointed out in a Reddit thread that there are upwards of 10 different styles of wayfinding inside Union Station, which can be a bit confusing, I suppose. Got an espresso. So I have shown this new Shake Shack before, but it wasn't here during my big full tour in that last video. This one includes a bar. This used to be a Source store. Now it's a Best Buy Express. And I guess they couldn't get a Cinnabon, so they had to settle for a Cinnaholic. Doesn't smell quite as awesome as a Cinnabon does. And I think a bunch of places are new through here. Got the little foodie aisle running up here. And those escalators will take you to Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, this corridor here is really filled up. There's not many empty spots left now. Jersey Mike's. I've yet to try them. This was here before, but I'm not sure if it's changed since my last walkthrough. It might be the same. The Egg Club. Now this is one of the last big sections that's still behind hoarding here. I'm not sure what will eventually fill this up. Whether it be one large market of some sort or a series of smaller places. I think there were plans at one time to open a grocery store in the station. I'm not sure if that's still the plan or not. But this space here would be large enough for one if that were to come to pass. Looks like this is yet to open, another new place. And we have a cheesecake factory within the Kibo Market here, sort of a mini takeout cheesecake factory, I think. Not a full-size sit-down restaurant. Yeah, this spot here is still a mystery. So here's a map. This is where we are on that level. This is the main level. Actually, no, that's the Via Concourse level and the Front Street Promenade level. This is the main level where the Great Hall is. So it's a massive station. Got several different spots. You need a public washroom. And here's the main food court. This has been here for quite a few years now. The York Concourse, which we're in now, opened around 10 years ago or so. This is one of the first of the new renos to reveal itself. This was a completely different looking place before all the work has been done, and it's still ongoing. There's a new South Concourse under construction right now. So that probably won't be open to the public for another couple of years, I'm guessing. I remember when this Taco Bell opened, I came in and did a video trying it out. It had been so long since I've had Taco Bell, I thought it was worthwhile to see if I still liked it. And it was not as good as I remember it being back in the day when I would frequent Taco Bell. All right, we're going up to the GO train platforms here at the York Concourse. This is pretty much the same as the Bay Concourse we saw at the other end of the station. Pretty busy here. All these people are part of a big group of some sort. They're all dressed in a similar manner. I saw some badges. And I have done some videos where I ride a GO train. And a GO bus also from the bus terminal, which is a separate building from Union Station here, but it's connected through the path. It's not a very long walk to the bus station from the train station. All right, now this will take us back up into the Great Hall, but there's still another couple of levels that I have yet to take us into. And there's a whole wing going that way also that leads to the Up Express terminal, which is the train to the airport. Another look at the Great Hall from this end, but let's go down. So this is the Front Street Promenade. It's another mostly restaurant level here with some retail. And those stairs straight ahead will take you right down to where I just was. And those doors will take you outside into the little sort of moat-like wraparound feature in front of the station. Not where we were before with the glass roof. Let's take a peek. This one here. I think at one time, like 100 years ago, or not quite 100 years ago, I think the station opened in 1927, but close to 100 years ago, you would see cars parked in there. The old Model T cars. Some donuts, and we got some cookies. A watch store or a clock store. This has changed. This was something different than what it is now. And that's leading back down to the retail level of the Bay Concourse. So we won't go that way again. I'll take us into the Via Rail Concourse. Via Rail is our intercity passenger rail service. Every once in a while, I still manage to walk through an area I've never walked through before, such as right here. I don't think I actually walked through this little spot in my other video. It's kind of neat. Or even here, I don't think I walked through before. Got a little Tim Hortons here. 300,000 daily visitors at Union Station. That's why it's Canada's busiest transportation complex or center. Busier than Pearson Airport even. There's the Tim Hortons from the other side. A lot more washrooms here. And this line is people waiting to board. I'm not sure what train it is. There's a train departing for Windsor, one for Montreal. Let's look over on this side. A lot of people waiting. I can hear a train. Either pulling in or pulling out. Probably pulling in if Those people are waiting. Maybe that's the train that they're going to be getting on. Get up to the tracks or come down from the tracks. These access points. I think one side is for people coming down from the tracks and the other side is people going up to the tracks. And that's quite the lineup. There's people heading up. Oops, they're still running. So this will take you back over to the Bay Concourse. And there's also an access to the Scotiabank Arena and the bus terminal. The bus terminal is almost worthy of its own separate video. Last time I included it with my Union Station video. I just did both at once. I think this time I will forego the bus terminal and stick to the station proper here. Here's another map. So this area you see under construction, that's the future South Concourse, which is basically immediately south of where we're standing, as you can see. Basically on the other side of this is where that will be. It's well underway. And we're back in the York Concourse. But since we're at this end, I think what I'll do is I'll take us to the westernmost part of the station. There's a Mick Cafe.
Let's go. Shake Shack is way better than us.
And more restaurants here and bars as well. If you need a stiff drink, traveling stresses you out. Got some cops walking through. Actual cops, not security guards. Versed. More restaurants. And that'll take you outside to the York Teamway. Union Kitchen. They even have some patio seating here, even though we're indoors. So this is taking us back to the Front Street Promenade where we were earlier. More bathrooms right over there.
Round clock.
So I found.
All right, let's go up. Back into the Great Hall. So this is the only major part of the station we haven't seen yet. Another plaque you can read, some of the history of Via Rail. Any Americans watching probably find it informative that it's sort of like our version of Amtrak. And Amtrak does actually service Toronto. They have a train coming from New York City. So you do see Amtrak trains making their way into Union Station. Ah, the air is so nice and cool here. I'm almost dreading going back outside to do my live stream after this. I quite like this end of the station, even though it's a bit far-flung. There's another exit out onto the street right around the corner. I'll take you over to Front Street. And there was one at the other end I didn't show, actually, in the eastern end, where there's another restaurant there. But I just wanted to quickly show where the skywalk begins here. All these people are heading to the Up Express train, which is the train to the airport. It runs every 15 minutes. It takes 25 minutes to get to Pearson Airport from Union Station. And there's a look up York Street. So it won't take us right to the Up Express, but we'll just take a peek into the skywalk proper here. There's the terminal right there. And you can keep walking through the skywalk all the way to the CN Tower. It has a series of elevated walkways going over the rail corridor, where you can get some pretty cool views. Yeah, we're kind of backtracking here, but can't really avoid that sometimes. All right, let's just make a beeline straight to the eastern end of the station. Go straight through the Great Hall, just to show that last part that I didn't show. It's always fun to walk through the Great Hall. It's possibly my favorite place in Toronto. Boom. It's always a bit awe-inspiring, at least to me anyway. Might not be quite on the scale of Grand Central Station, but it's pretty darn close. think there are only a handful of other major train stations in North America that are built on this scale, really. I think some of them are also called Union Station. It's a very popular name for train stations in the US and Canada. Chicago comes to mind. So this end here, I think, has some future tenants that will eventually add more restaurants. But we do have the Bovine, which opened up not too long ago, the Blue Bovine. I'm not sure what might go on this side, if anything. I think there's some sort of lounge there. So you get into the Blue Bovine. And this is sort of like a miniature Great Hall. It's very echoey in here. This will take us back out onto Front Street. And this is new since my last major tour. This is erected for the restaurant, but it does sort of bring to mind the big bowl in New York's financial district. It even has the same anatomical features. But that is it for a somewhat whirlwind walkthrough of Union Station. On Friday rush hour, I got in out of the smoky air. We took a look at some of the new restaurants and retail. So I hope you enjoyed the updated walkthrough of Canada's busiest transportation facility. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. Or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under KContinuum. So thanks for watching. And thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.